Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about many interesting theories. Let's list some of them. The theory about the game Soma, is Jax a hacker or not? Are the characters related to Company CA, and many other theories? Make yourself comfortable and we will begin. I believe that everyone who ended up in the digital circus is in a situation reminiscent of the style of Soma. In the world of Soma, you can transfer your essence, but the chances are 50-50 that you will remain in your old body, or your primary essence will end up in a new body. It seems to me that the same thing happens in the digital circus. When you put on the headset, part of your essence plunges into the game, and when you take it off, there is a chance that you will stay in it, or part of your essence will remain in the game. I lean towards the idea that this is more likely the second option, since none of the people in the digital circus remember anything before they got there, including their name or other important details. I have several hypotheses about TAD-DC. Some of them are based on a limited amount of evidence, but in my opinion, they provide a good basis for further research when we get more material for analysis. I think they are quite interesting, so enjoy. First, I would like to discuss Kinger and suggest that he may not be as mad as he might seem at first glance. Unstable? Possibly, but mad. Prepare for a surprise. I believe that this theory has every chance of becoming canonical, and although there is not much evidence for it, it seems quite convincing, given that the creators of the series had only 45 to fit as many plot lines as possible, which leaves us little space for theories not related to the main plot. I think many people miss the moment when he says, someone mentioned a collection of insects in his first line, and then says, I think it's some kind of collection of insects, meaning Gloinkov and Queen Gloinkov. This may indicate that he may not be insane. In fact, I assume that he may be spoiled, a term that Kane uses when remember is in the void. This implies that Kinger knows spoilers from the future, has an idea of the future, or possibly even moves in time. Honestly, this is probably the only thing that really keeps him from completely breaking away from reality and madness. The second theory, I believe that all our characters to one degree or another were associated with C and A, with the exception perhaps of Jax. This is not such a big assumption. After all, it would be logical. How else did they get into the world of TADC? But why didn't Jax work there? Why did I single him out? I did this solely to propose a third theory. I believe that Jax is a hacker, someone who tried to steal information or game code from TADC in the real world. In particular, I believe that this is confirmed by the fact that he has keys to all the rooms, his careless attitude, his suspicion in general, and the fact that he seems to be the only one among them who can really experience hunger statistics. So what do I mean? Let's move on to the fourth theory, and I understand that this is a small jump, but I believe that there is a small chance that Jax, unlike the rest of the TADC team, experiences hunger. At the end of the episode, there is a joke where Jax says he is hungry, and Kinger continues to explain that food in the digital circus actually does nothing for them. It just creates a feeling of food. This is presented as a funny joke, but the conversation does not die down until they finish talking about it, and Jax comments, "Since when have you been an expert in the digital world?" And I consider this phrase very important. I will return to it later. I want to say that this conversation is very important for world building. You might ask, but why do you think this conversation means that Jax is experiencing hunger? It's not, at least not in and of itself. You see, at the beginning of the episode, when Zubla takes Gloinks, Jax responds, "Oh no, they killed Zubla. Anyway, does anyone want to buy something to eat?" This means that either Jax just likes to eat because he's bored, which could very well be in his character, considering his attitude, or maybe it means that Jax is actually hungry. Maybe he's been hungry throughout the episode. Maybe Jax is the very character who is set up differently and needs food. So we move on to the fifth theory. Remember that phrase I mentioned earlier? I'm talking about, since when have you been an expert in the digital world? This is a line from Jax addressed to Kinger, and I think it's important to highlight the conflict between Jax and Kinger, as well as indicating that both of them have an understanding of the digital world. I've already suggested that Jax might be a hacker, but what does this mean for Kinger? I mentioned that everyone else probably worked at the company that created TADC, so this might be the key to the puzzle. So, the last jump. I suggest that Kinger might have been one of the original developers of TADC or one of the CEOs of the company behind its creation. Someone who has a deep understanding of how digital reality, coding, and computers work, but gradually loses all knowledge from the past as a side effect of being spoiled. In the end, we have 5 partly formed theories. Some of them are more convincing than others, but I hope that we will see their confirmation or refutation as we get more content from Gooseworks, Glitch, and the entire TADC team. I have a personal hypothesis that the Digital Circus was created as a rehabilitation program for people suffering from psychological trauma received in childhood. Perhaps its task was to give them the opportunity to experience the joys of childhood that they were deprived of. However, for some reason, the development of the program was suspended. Thus, since the program was not completed, the way out of it was never developed. Perhaps the form that people take in this world is somehow related to their traumas. This would be quite interesting, as it adds an element of psychological horror. It is also possible that PS was an artificial intelligence programmed to help people inside the program, and he is just trying to do his job. But the idea that a world created to give joy and happiness turns into absurdity due to unforeseen circumstances would be very attractive. Interesting connection of the digital circus with the image of Christ. In the 14th chapter of the book, the characters are described as images of Christ, and there is this list of characteristics. My brain began to associate some of these characteristics with remember. I don't know if this was shown in the pilot episode, or maybe it will be revealed later in the series. I was interested in whether she is the image of Christ in this story. Will she be the one who frees everyone from this digital trap? Or will she sacrifice herself to save everyone else? Intriguing connection of the digital circus with the character Elaine. Gooseworks, the creator of this new series, also created other short animations on his channel. In this theory, I was interested in 2 episodes about Elaine. Elaine the Bounty Hunter, and Elaine Gets Adopted. Remember and Elaine have almost the same color scheme and are the main characters of their series. Remember gets trapped by putting a headset on her eyes, while Elaine injects her eye with drugs, causing a strange visual journey. Both characters encounter influential figures who are essentially just teeth instead of heads. These toothy men apparently possess extensive knowledge that no one else knows, which is very important. The main characters eventually get some of this information in a strange void similar to space, which only the toothy men have access to. Finally, both series feature giant black creatures with multicolored eyes. One of them looks like a god, and the other seems to have just gone mad. It is unclear what influence they will have on the rest of the stories, but it's hard to ignore how similar they are. Maybe this is a hint that there is something more to them, possibly even a connection or something like that.